may be in heaven and having a great time there. But we envision this together, all meshed with the reading that we have in Revelation about the heavenly city, the New Jerusalem. There will be like a cube coming down from heaven. And there is where we read that there will be death no more, and He will wipe away all the tears and all that. And that's Revelation 21. It's the new heaven, it's the New Jerusalem. And this is the city we always identify with what heaven is going to be like. But we have saints on earth. And this is something very important, because according to this, we who believe, we are all saints. So the idea is that why are we all saints? Because we walk in faith, we're sanctified by that faith. It's not our faith, it's the faith of God who sanctified us. So we are saints and sinners. Kevin told me to have a t-shirt that somehow reflect those both things at the same time. Well, we're saints and sinners, both at the same time. That's something that Luther explained very well. We are saints and sinners. But the story here is not, as we always envision, from life to death. This is a story from death to life. The story of Lazarus is a story from death to life. And it's also the story of the two sisters, Mary and Martha, the sisters of Lazarus. And we are familiar with the story because Jesus visited with them and had many conversations. Remember Mary, the one who sat at Jesus' feet? And Martha, that was upset because she was doing everything in the home and Mary didn't help her. Okay, those are the two sisters, and Lazarus was their brother. And the story is that, well, Lazarus died and Jesus was not there. And so because he died, he was taken into a tomb. And Mary, at the beginning of the story, Mary found the place where Jesus was, knelt at his feet and said, Lord, if you were here, my brother would not have died. And the people there was very upset. And Jesus said, well, take me to the tomb. And the first thing Jesus said, well, roll away the stone. But Martha, the other sister, said, Lord, already there is a stench there because he had been dead for 4 days. The interesting thing is that King James Version doesn't say there's a stench. The King James Version says stinketh. Interesting way to put it. After 4 days, stinketh. And why 4 days? Because the 3 days were the ritual days that were considered for the resurrection. On the third day, he was beyond those 3 days of resurrection. He was 4 days after, and that was very intentional. So the point, we're going to review this in a very short adult forum, and we're going to talk about resurrection, resuscitation, and reanimation, how those words fit in the Bible, this event. But Jesus at that moment prayed, and he said a very interesting prayer. Father, I thank you. He starts the prayer with thanking. I thank you for having heard me. So he sees the result of his prayer beforehand. I knew that you always hear me, says Jesus. You always hear me. But I say this for the sake of the crowd standing here, that they may believe that you sent me. So because of that, they rolled away the stone, and Jesus pronounced this statement, Lazarus, come out. And because of faith, everybody was expecting what would happen. And Lazarus, come out. Lazarus came. And when Lazarus came out of the tomb, well, they didn't take pictures in those days. But Lazarus came and was all wrapped in linen cloth we'll call it the gray cloth. He was all wrapped in hands and feet and his face. Why is this so important? When he came out, this is the image that we have, but Jesus has to remove the gray cloth. And removing the gray cloth has an important, an important part of how we are bound in hands, feet, and mouth. This is an act of liberation. And we have in Ephesians saying that we are renewed in spirit when we take away the gray cloth. But shedding the gray cloth has a special meaning, because sometimes we remove those cloths that prevent us from acting, from helping, from taking a stand. But you know what? Sometimes we put them back and go back to the way we used to be because it's more comfortable. In this case, we need to talk about what each one of us have allowed other people to put on us. What are the great clothes that we allow other people, our circumstances? So the admonishment from the Bible says, take off your great clothes, that strips of linen, and walk with Jesus in the land of the living and celebrate his joyous dance of life. God wants us to wear grace clothes, not grave clothes. And the idea is the hands are bound, so you can't help. Your feet may be bound, so we can't walk. Our face is bound, so we can't see. This is the idea. What are the great clothes that are binding you? Think about this for a moment. Your education, the family you came from, the country you came from, the language you speak, your educational degree that you achieved, your experience, your family history. Think about, what are those things that do not allow you to see because they are covering your eyes? What are those things that prevent you from helping? What are the things that prevent you from walking and doing the things that God is calling you? So we picture Jesus at the entrance and calling your individual name. Can you picture in your mind Jesus calling your individual name? Because you are called to be holy. And becoming holy starts now, not tomorrow or not yet or next week. We need to take courage, as it says in Mark. Get up. Jesus is calling you. And when Jesus is calling you, the point is, are you going to answer? Are you going to answer? These are the strips that are binding you, the chains that we need to get rid of. But at the same time, in this process of becoming holy, not just the ones we're going to pray for in our rite for all saints, but those who are here. Those are the saints. And the saints are not just because one day you were baptized. That's a good start. But you need to become holy and to listen the call. And when you listen the call of Jesus to come out and live and walk and do and see. Remember how many roads must a man walk down before he can call him a man? Remember that song? The point is how many, that one. We don't see. Or we just pretend, like the song says, we don't see. So as we answer Jesus' call, we walk in faith. We are sanctified by faith. and we become holy. We become saints. Sometimes Jesus calls Lazarus to come out, and he's embarrassment. Lazarus came out not only with bad hair, but dead hair. Well, we have all thousands of excuses why, when Jesus is calling us in this sanctification process, we do not answer. We don't come out into the world to do, to help, to see. And you see what Jesus ends in this story. Unbind him and let him go. Interesting. As good Lutherans at times, we are unbound and let us sit and wait. It's go, do, help, care, see, love, serve. That is what sanctification looks like. And you who do see, you who do walk, you who do help, you are the saints of God. So I finish with keep calm and be a saint. Amen.